He wasn't kidding. Okay, so.
He's ticklish.
It's gonna be hard to get the questions out. Okay. So, all right, let's start with the basic stuff. I mean, how familiar were you with the Superman mythos, the comics, the characters you wound up playing on the show before you took the parts?
Is it based on comics? That's a good one. No, I used to watch it on TV in black and white when I was a little kid, and then I lost touch with Superman. Didn't care a thing about it. So I didn't even know Lex had a father. Oh, could he? Your turn.
I was a big comic book fan when I was younger. I have to say that I was definitely more of a Marvel guy, but some DC comic books snuck in there, and Superman and Batman were on some of them. So I never was a giant fan of Jimmy Olsen, though. I definitely wanted to be the superhero and not the sidekick, but you know, that's life. So yeah, I was very aware of the movies and the comic books and the character. And, yeah.
I grew up watching Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain. So I remember watching that as a kid, and other than that, I found that the whole experience happened so fast and so quickly that I was on the set doing stuff before I realized kind of the enormity of what I was doing. And I just remember being on the set and the elevator door shutting, and there was a slate that said Lois Lane, and I went, oh, holy crap, that's very good. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then, you know, you just hope for the best and run with it.
You were awesome. That's really loud. It's like echoed awesome. Yeah, I had a self-tape for Smallville, for Kara. And I did not know, and self-tapes are when you put it on tape yourself instead of going into the casting office, because I was in Canada. And I didn't know who Kara was. I thought, oh, Superman has a girlfriend, that's cool. And Tom Welling, I'm down for this. And so I auditioned, and later on, once I heard I had a screen test for it, kind of looked into it and read some of the comics. So that's sort of when I started to learn more about her.
Now, John, you were there from the beginning, from season 1, while the other 3 joined en route. From your perspective as a regular on the show, what was it like as the cast was changing and evolving, and you suddenly had these 3 new regular faces?
Terrible. So sad.
Well, the first, I got a call like 2 days before what I was supposed to do in the pilot, because somebody dropped out. So I was a replacement. They said, do you want to go up to Vancouver and be Lex's father, and you get paid this much? And I said, oh, sure, okay, I'll go up. And they said they might want to have you back. And so I did it and watched the pilot. I thought, oh, okay. And then they wanted me back for one, and I went back and did that one, I think, where we sword fought. That's fight, it's not a word. That came right after the big war thing. Anyway, the third time they wanted to have me back, I was doing a play in New York and couldn't come back. So then the next year they offered me a contract.
They tried to do.
Yeah, and the handcuffs were on. That's called golden handcuffs. When you're doing a series, you get paid a lot of money, but you can't do anything else.
That's right.
Yeah, golden handcuffs.
Did it feel like golden handcuffs for the 3 of you as you were joining the show and recognizing you were going to be recurring or regular?
Well, you guys, all right, you guys already turned me off. I can.
I think Laura's taking all the juice over here. For me, when I auditioned for the show, I almost didn't audition for the show because my brother had been on the show as a no, guys, he's not that great. He was here last year, you guys probably met him, he's not that great. But he had played a bad guy in the show, he'd stolen Clark's powers, and he was in 2 or 3 episodes and very visible. We're twins. I thought there's no way that they're gonna hire me on a show that my brother has been a bad guy on. They did. And when when I got on, it was a reoccurring part, and I also, the first scene I shot was with Tom and Allison, and it was supposed to be like meeting Tom. Chloe was introducing Jimmy to Clark. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if we just did a little like wink, like if Clark was like, have we met before? And it's like, no, I don't think so. The producers did not like that. They didn't think it was funny. I think maybe it was that moment that they clued in that they'd cast the twin of somebody who'd already been on the show. That guy, maybe not. I don't know. So when I got on the show, I knew it was going to be a recurring role, but just for one season, and then it turned into more, and then they killed me. So there you go.
I got killed 3 times on Smallville.
That is one of the blessings of doing jobs on sci-fi, because you can die and come back, and you can play all different kinds of incarnations, and whether you enjoy being possessed by things or not, that's kind of fun too. So there's always something to do.
Always something.
They're great.
Hi, diddly dee. An actor's life for me.
Yeah. Sorry, the weekly grind had to have been wearing on you guys, week in, week out, doing this, especially given the number of effects involved and the performance challenges. How did you keep fresh week after week?
I don't have performance challenges. Who told you that?
Yeah, I know. This is on again now. I didn't think it was going to be over.
I mean, I think just a lot of rest in between. For Tom and I, we had a lot of harness training for green screen and flying. Although Tom never flew, I tried, and so we would do that on weekends. So that was a little exhausting after you shoot for the whole week, but I enjoyed it. So I was just happy to be there. I think that's how I had energy. So.
It was a part-time gig for me.
50 episodes though, I mean.
Yeah, but it was spaced out. Like, I think that obviously, probably Erica, you had a fuller workload than a lot of us, and obviously Tom and those guys worked a
I was a
lot.
lot younger, I had a lot of energy. No, I was so grateful to have a job, but there were moments, I have to say, where it was 3 a.m. raining in Vancouver, and I'd be running around in something I could barely move in and sit down, and then Tom would come out in jeans and boots and 5 coats and do like 2 shots, and I'd be like, oh, come on now. But that's the life of being a girl.
I have a question for you actually then, because I've mentioned this at a few panels. Did you ever do a scene with Tom where he overheated so he'd take his pants off?
No, that was just you, Laura.
Tom talks about it, so it's okay. But he would overheat in the loft scenes because it was so lit. So when they get in closer,
Are you allowed
he'd be
to
like,
talk
"Are we
about
shooting
it now?"
Oh, he talks about it all the time. He's like, "Are we shooting above the waist?" And they'd say, "Yeah," and then he'd just drop his pants. Yeah, he'd be in his boxers and
Classy
whatnot,
set,
but-
I tell you.
Michael took his pants off a lot too, but he didn't even wear his boxers.
Oh, not surprised.
So, Erica and Laura, on a show about superheroes, because Tom Welling's Clark Kent really wasn't Superman yet.
Yeah.
He was still in training. Lois comes on, very different than the other female characters who've been on the show, very strong-willed. And then, obviously, Kara as Supergirl, very powerful. Did you realize you were both portraying different types of characters compared to the rest of the cast? The strong, forward-thinking women?
Oh,
I feel like Kristen
I feel like
and
if I
I
answer that, that's like a real dip to the other gals. What happens is you're representing a different form of female character, and so the girls that came in earlier, Allison and Kristen, I think did a really great job with what they were given. Yeah.
Well, they were also playing much younger parts.
Yeah, they were able to play younger
Virginal.
parts. And, yeah, virginal. They had to. So I guess the point is, since those roles were taken up, I got the non-virginal angry parts. Yeah.
When did you all start having sex?
let Aaron go first.
But I think I'm just gonna change the subject.
Here's one of my favorite episodes. It's remember when the Clark would light blackboards on fire when he'd get horny and everything?
Oh, sure.
And then when his dad was trying to teach him how to, pull it in so he wouldn't set the town on fire every time he got
It all depended on how much money we had for special effects that week. So it was like one day he'd get to do the tractor, and the next time he'd come in and be like, "Oh, I gotta shoot stuff out of my eye."
We were always a happy family.
Well, what was the set like? I mean, what was it like shooting the show? I mean, we talked about the long hours, but was it a fun crew?
Yes.
Pranksters?
No, well, except for Michael.
How so?
Well, because he loved to prank.
Favorite examples?
Well, I've told this
Just
story.
all the time.
I've told this story before. It's a little disgusting, but it happened, and it happened just like I'm gonna tell you. So we were shooting a scene where Michael and I were supposed to come out of an elevator and do a little walk and talk into his office. And the AD was like, okay, like we're about to shoot, we're about to go. And Michael was like, do I have time to go to the bathroom? And the AD was like, no. And he's like, all right, cool. So we go into the elevator. It's not a real elevator, it's a fake elevator. The doors close. He takes a water bottle, he turns around into the corner, and he pees in the bottle. Seals her up. Action. And then we went right into the tape. And I was like, all right. It's gonna show? Is that gonna go?
Is that like your first day?
No, it had been a little while, but I was still pretty new. So it was, it didn't seem to bother him. What do you think? Joan, sorry, I'm looking at you.
I see you looking at
I
it.
know, and
It's just
you know
amazing.
what I was gonna say is that I miss your longer hair, because I picture you with your longer hair.
Well, I wish I'd known I'd gotten a wig.
You could have put your I just was looking at you.
Anybody have a wig out there I could put on? I would be happy.
I miss the flowing locks.
Well,
I mean, you look good, but when I picture you,
I'm glad you added that.
Yeah. I miss the.
Take your hat off. I'm trying to be like you.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
A great thing about John Glover is when I started my first episode, and as the episode came along, grew more and more terrified. And aside is, people always say, "Oh, you gave her these great neuroses." No, that's just me. It wasn't like a plan. I was terrified most of the time. But one of my first scenes with you, and I was just so scared. And I remember you saying to me, "It's just a conversation. We're just having a conversation." It was just
Did that
so
help?
wonderful. It totally helped. It's just
See
so
how
simple.
generous I am.
It's so simple, but yet unbelievably, if you're in this line of business, it seems like a simple thing to say, but it's actually quite profound. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I put it on my reel.
You
It's
did?
one of my first scenes on my demo.
Oh yeah? Oh my God.
We're having a moment.
Yes,
You haven't
we
seen
are.
John in 19 years.
Well, Laura, do you have any John moments? Because everyone else is sharing.
I don't think we.
I remember you laying on a table.
Oh, you always talk
And
about
you were
this
sort of doing these
thrusting.
little, she had to do these little. And Tom was sort of helping her, saying, you thrust like that.
Okay, we gotta put this in context.
Do you remember what was actually happening in the scene?
I think so.
The thrusting scene?
I was tied down to the table
Oh, you were tied down
on
and you were
red
writhing.
kryptonite.
It was so hot. And that's HAWT.
Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah.
But he did have a way, because the stuff that you're doing before any kind of other special effects come in does make you feel really strange. So I can see that he's trying to
Yeah.
people are like, let's not make this weird. Let's not make it.
Well, Tom made it weird. Yeah.
Successfully.
He's even weirder now.
Yeah, it's even weirder now. At least his pants were on during those scenes.
Michael, not still. No.
But Tom did prank me. I know we were talking about pranks a couple of times, and I've mentioned this one before, but there was a scene in the loft where I'm teaching him to fly, and we're at the ledge, and I'm supposed to sort of push him, and after a couple of takes, I saw him whispering to the stunt team, And then they were like, okay, we're gonna roll again. And this time when I pushed him, he acted like I pushed him too hard and he tripped and he fell out of the loft and he disappeared. And I was like, oh my God, I'm fired, I killed Superman.
I like that you're like, oh my god, I'm fired. Not like
All I cared about was that I was fired. And then I looked down and he's giving me the finger. They had put a gurney down there for him to fall on, so he liked to do that stuff to me. I was terrified.
Okay, we'll open this up to questions. Where's the man with the mic? Okay, so raise your hand, he will come to you. And while you're getting positioned, let me just ask, it's been 8 years since the show ended. And it clearly has had a legacy because of all the superhero stuff on the CW now and the fact that the audience went nuts when we mentioned Smallville. How do you feel about the show today, looking back?
I think it's fabulous, and I had a great time for my 7 years on it, and I was glad they got to kill me twice more in 10. I just was so proud to be a part of it. I had a grand time. I got to do great things. Shock treatment to your son, my God, what could be more fun? That's my vote.
Yeah, I'm extremely proud to have been on it. It was the first of its kind, and now we have so many in that vein, especially Supergirl having her own series. I mean, that was something we'd always wanted. So, yeah, happy to see that that's happening and women are leading the way on film and television in that genre.
I think it's cool to be a small part of something that has been around before you and obviously is going to continue on after that. Like, it's neat to just think that you have a little part in that. I know we did I don't remember what season or but the Jimmy Olsens that were still around all sat down and did a little like interview, the four of them, like Jack Larson, Mark McClure, my buddy Sam Huntington, and that really puts things in perspective that these characters have been loved for a long time. They're going to continue to go on, so be a little piece of that is pretty cool. Yeah.
Erica, any thoughts before we?
Well, it's just, yeah, I think, that story stays around because the fans love it, because people love a story that is good and wholesome and where the good guy wins and justice can prevail. And I think in a climate where things are a little bit tougher, people keep kind of looking for those kind of stories to put something out that is positive. And for myself, being able to inhabit a character that's a female character that's strong and independent and also makes mistakes, and she isn't just one thing or another, but trying to be fully human. I'm really grateful for that because it doesn't come around a lot. Mm-hmm.
Okay, why don't we take our first question over here? Mike? It's every time.
On. There we go. Hi guys, my name is Morgan. Thank you all for being here. So I work for the public library, so I'm always curious, what is one book you guys think everyone should read?
Wow. A book?
I was waiting.
Do people still read? Gone with the Wind. A nice short book.
Have you ever read it?
No.
They say it's a good read.
Some people like it. My daughter, when she read it in 8th grade, hated it, wrote such a vehement book review report about it against it. The teacher who loved the book had to give it an A because she was so passionate about it. So,
There you go.
A book that I've read over and over, and I wouldn't even say that it's my favorite book, but just a book that I have it actually on my side table and I read it like every, year or so, is Great Gatsby. I think it's like beautifully written and interesting. That's the only thing that comes to mind. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I like Tolkien too. So like Lord of the Rings is like something that I'm playing with for my daughters. They're probably going to be like, enough, stop it, Dad. But I'm going to try to get them into that stuff. I think that's a great read. That's all.
ladies?
I have so many books beside my bed that I start and then never finish. So I'm horrible at that, but a book that I did really like that they made a film out of was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I liked that series. I wouldn't say it's a classic, but it was one that I enjoyed.
I think we're all I was trying to think of something like super highbrow or that sort of thing. But you mentioned classics, so I thought, well, I like all the Jane Austens, the Pride and Prejudice, and all those. I actually read them a lot, and I watch them over and over ad nauseum. I'm very in love with that particular type of genre. But I also have to say I love to be taken away when I read books. So I know that it's cliche and everybody's read it, but I love magical worlds. I love Harry Potter. I loved all of the. I read a lot of YAs. Like when I'm like it's like Rest of the Tube stuff. And now, of course, I have 2 little kids, so I'm reading stuff about raising toddlers and I'm finding in reading about raising toddlers, I'm learning how to kind of heal myself. So there's something called raising the whole-brained child, but I think it applies to human beings, and it's about learning to connect to the 2 sides of your brain. So if you're really getting in a hugely emotional state, it's teaching you how to cognitively get yourself to a linear state where you can have good conversation and good relationship. And what I loved about it is that it's teaching you that you can create new neural pathways in your brain and that you can change your brain. So if you're in something that you're stuck in, I found that really helpful. Because it's like, okay, I'm not stuck thinking this particular way. So anybody who has kids or something, or just has things that they want to work through, obviously.
Exactly.
Who needs kids? Give me the title of it.
There's actually a book that I just got that I halfway through. I think it's called The Woman That Changed Her Brain. And yeah, someone else. Okay, yes. And it's incredible. It's sort of the same idea in that she grew up being told she had a learning disability, and the way that she was educated back in the day was that that's not going to change. You have to live with it, find a way around it. And she found a way to teach herself to overcome it, and it teaches you can rewire.
Yeah.
Same idea. It's really interesting.
Cool. Out here. There you go. Let's put the mic.
I think I busted a mic last night because I got excited. It's probably my fault.
This one's for John. I've been a big fan of something you did several years ago. You read several select stories of Steve Angela's Night Shift.
Yeah.
And I had already read the stories, but I've listened to them on audio, and I've listened to them probably about 100 times because you are so good. When you do the voices, especially in the short story Boogeyman, I was just wondering, how do you come up with voices? How do you make your voices change to do different characters for stuff like that?
I don't know.
It's okay.
You
It's
just
a safe space.
I come upon them and I think, well, how should I do that to make? I just make up something.
Magic.
Big
The
help.
answer is magic.
Do you like doing the audiobooks? Because we've done quite a few.
Not recently. I don't
No,
think
not
there
recently.
was many recently, but there is something very intimidating about sitting alone in a little booth with no air kind of flowing through it, and you've got a stack of papers this high, and you know that for the next 3 or 4 days you're going to be reading out loud this book out loud. I mean, 400 or 500 pages. It's a very daunting experience. Thank you.
And if you don't get it, something that, people think, oh, they're just reading it. It's such a huge amount of skill to read it with the proper diction, read it with the proper intonation,
Oh yeah.
and not have flub ups.
And at a certain point you get so tired with the blah blah blah. Yeah. I know, yeah.
You're like, that's why I don't do them anymore.
I think that's why they don't ask me anymore.
Okay. Here we got a couple up front, and then go to the side. Okay.
So hello, my name is Thomas. Nice to see you and everyone. Wow, you're all joined together. So my question will be: can you tell us or make us your favorite lines or catchphrase during the series?
You expect me to remember some lines?
Oh, maybe a catchphrase. Sorry, a catchphrase.
Oh, shut up, Lex.
I've got one that just popped into my head. I'm your bro and not your foe.
Who wrote that?
I said that to Clark, I think. Because he's like, I don't know, can't remember. But there was a fist bump involved or something like that.
Did it explode?
Yes, it did.
Oh, good.
I think it did, yeah.
I just learned how to do that.
Very exciting.
I did that, and the kid went, so now I'm doing. It's on hip.
I think there was one, everyone always wants me to quote, this is what happens when you touch my stuff. I think it's the first line I had on the show. It's really not an exciting line.
Did you beat somebody up after that or something?
It's my cell phone, yeah. Or someone's cell phone.
Lois' cell phone.
Lois'
So
cell
too.
phone. Okay, yes.
Hey.
That was it. That's what it was. So, yeah.
Can you
This
say
is
it
what
for John?
this is what happens when you touch my stuff.
I liked calling him Smallville because I usually got to hit him after I said it. What is it? I usually got to hit him when I said it, which I think he just needed it. Just did.
What's interesting is that has now become ingrained in the comic books from the TV show, that Lois calls him that. So it's become quite the endearment. Over here.
Yes, hello. Thank you all for coming out here today. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to know, so there have been several times on the show where you've all played kind of alternate versions of yourselves, whether you've been infected with something, or it's a flash forward, or it's an alternate universe. Do you have any particular ones that you enjoyed playing throughout the series?
I love the noir episode. There was an episode where, it was sort of set like an old noir movie, and I think everybody enjoyed that one. You were singing, I remember you were singing. Yeah, it was like everybody got to be old movie stars and completely transport these characters to a different time and talk differently, and everybody was dressed up and was shot amazing, beautifully in black and white. So that was to me, I think that's the only episode. Yes.
One of the
Oh, she knows the Frenchman, yes.
Yeah. Oh, the Frenchman. Funny Frenchman. Yeah, that was a really fun episode because I think everybody got to just sort of step outside of what they've been doing for a long time and just kind of freshen up the characters in a way, playing a different time frame.
I wasn't there.
But you would have been great.
That sounds fun.
First of all, thank you all for being here. I'm trying so hard not to fanboy right now because Smallville is my favorite show and it's the best thing since sliced bread. But since we talked earlier about books, I have a question for all four of you, and that is, what would you say is one of your favorite, if not some of your favorite movies growing up, or maybe some of the stuff you enjoy watching now when you're not playing legendary characters?
A Star is Born with Judy Garland and James Mason. One of the best movies ever made. East of Eden, James Dean, Julie Harris. Born Yesterday, Judy Holliday. So many. God bless TCM.
Blanking after
Skip
that.
you.
Just sort of favorite films we grew up on, or
Stuff that's been inspirational or
So I
inspiring
had
or
mentioned that like Pride
entertaining.
and Prejudice, Persuasion, Sense and Sensibility, like any one of that,
yeah.
all of that time period, I'm fascinated by it.
I really liked Death Becomes Her. There's a lot about that I enjoyed. The movie that actually inspired me to become an actor when I was a kid was My Girl. So she and I were the same age, Anna Klumsky, and Macaulay Culkin when he dies, spoiler alert. Yeah, so that made me want to act. So there's a ton of films that have inspired me, but that was the one that got me into this world.
This is so random. I never would have. It just popped into my head, and it's a movie that I haven't seen in many, many years, but I watched it so much when I was a kid, and I just loved it. And it was called Cocoon.
Oh, sure.
There's just, okay, good. Cool. I thought it was good. Just like one of those movies that I remember as a kid, just watching these older actors and characters sort of just come alive, and like it's just such a really fun, amazing concept. So yeah, random movie that I haven't watched in a lot of years, but I remember as a kid I watched it many times.
How old a kid were you?
Probably
9,
8 or
10?
9. Yeah. I would
Oh,
say.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're blessed.
Think of Goonies.
Yeah, Goonies.
I'm warming up.
Yeah.
That wasn't myself, but I watched that.
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
Hi, welcome. I'm going to ask for your tolerance and forgiveness. I am only just now getting into Smallville at all.
Be gone.
I'm sorry. Thank you. However, I was aware of certain things that did happen along the timeline of the production. And I was wondering if any of you were there when Christopher Reeve appeared in the series. And if so, do you have any thoughts?
That was second season, so you guys haven't joined the cast yet.
I was there. I played with Chris, but I played with Chris in Williamstown before he had his accident, and had seen him in New York in different plays. So it was. But after he had his accident, he became more generous, just an amazing human being. He used it to become a greater person. His misfortune. Yeah, he turned into quite the true hero.
Again, I apologize for my ignorance. I'm only just now coming to the end of the first season. But thank you.
I'll see you in 6 seasons. Hang in there.
Yeah, and after this, we'll go to the other side of the room.
Well, hello, I'm Stephanie. This is Brandy. We are so appreciative that you guys came this weekend. We are big Smallville fans, but we are also really interested in what you guys are going to be working on or currently working on. I know that Laura and Erica are definitely going to be doing something real soon, and I just want to talk about it, give us a heads up on what's going on.
Plug our new show. I work on a sci-fi show called Killjoys. 5th season starts airing next Friday. So you have some time to catch up on the other ones if you haven't seen it yet. And I just finished doing a new Netflix show called Lock and Key, which is based on a graphic novel. That comes, I don't know what the release date is, I think it's 2020. So, but that's based on a graphic novel by a guy named Joe Hill, who's Stephen King's son, very talented writer. Maybe you've heard of Stephen King. I don't know about Joe Hill, but he's also very talented. And yeah, so that's sort of what I've been doing, and I'm now unemployed. I finished that last week, so I have.
Barely unemployed. You just
Well, I don't know. It's like you wonder if you're ever going to work again.
But we all get the cold sweats.
Yeah. You just get a little nervous. You're like,
Walk outside.
yeah. Hopefully somebody will hire me.
I have a movie coming out this year called Rabbit. It's a Cronenberg. It's a Cronenberg remake from the film from the 70s. And a new Netflix show coming out this year called View Wars. Same two people. It's a vampire series based on graphic novels with Ian Somerhalder. And a few more people. Mention Ian and you get the whole crowd. And I actually just executive produced my first film, so we just wrapped on that.
I didn't get a call.
Most of the roles were in their 70s.
Listen, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm gonna hold you to that for the next one.
I have a couple of things I'm working on to try to get started as a producer, and so there's a series in an indie, which we'll see. You can check in a couple of years, see if that goes. I'm going to be on the Christmas movie channel, a few Christmas movies I'm really excited about, and then I'm going to direct one this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How daunting.
I'm so excited. So
I see that in the rest.
well, that control, it's fantastic. And
I'm
then
unemployed right now,
gonna,
so
yeah.
I also really like Christmas. So let me know. Let me know.
What was the last bit you said? Say that
I'm going to
again.
be on Private Eyes.
Private Eyes is on Ion and Global in Canberra.
Jason Priestley.
Jason Priestley.
Johnny, are you currently working on something?
I'm gonna do a play in New York. I'm a theater actor.
Started here at Towson.
Yes, I did. I went to Towson State Teachers College, I want you all to know. So I feel like I'm at home again.
What play are you going to do?
It's called Fern Hill. If you're old enough and you watched LA Law, and you remember Michael Tucker and Jill Eikenberry?
Oh, sure.
All right, well, Michael wrote it, and Jill's in it, and I'm in it, and David Rashi, and Jody Long, and there are six of us. There are 6 of us who are in it. I play the oldest person. That wasn't funny. I really resent that, you all. I'm sitting up here on the stage with these young people, and you laugh at me because Spectrum TV were the first company to ever call me elderly. That's why I hate them so much.
But John, I was just watching a Netflix show and you came up in one of the episodes and you were incredible.
What was that?
A Tale of City?
Tales of the City.
Tales of the City.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it yet, it's a great show, but this one stole the whole episode. It was incredible.
Really?
You haven't seen it yet, have you?
I don't watch myself anymore.
I was so excited
It's
to see
very
you come up.
difficult. What?
I was just so excited to see you pop up on the screen. It
Well,
was
I
great.
wish I'd been there.
Come on over.
I love you when you get excited.
Okay, the visitor.
Hi, my name is David, and I'm from Minnesota. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you all for coming, and honor meeting you 3 of you for the first time tonight. And I go way back with Smallville since I'm like 14. And my question is, how do you guys feel when the show ended and you all got laid off and you weren't gonna spend the time around each other as much?
We all just tried to kill ourselves. We've been laid off and we thought we'd never work again. Oh my God, I'm done. My career is over. I've been laid off.
I just trickled out of the show and disappeared, so there was no moment of like, your last day. I was just gone.
My last time.
Yeah, let's clap.
My last day. Greg Beeman? Remember Greg Beeman? Well, there was something where he put so much blood on all my clothes were soaked in this sticky blood that we had to wear, and all day long I had to stand around because I couldn't sit down. Yeah, it's just, so that was my last time. I got laid off from that, but I got to get clean.
I remember my last day was working with you because I came back for one scene to...
Are you looking at her?
Yeah, sorry, Erica. I was looking at Erica. Do you remember that? Yeah, it was like the future sort of thing, and...
That was fun because it was our future self, like as in the art.
Yeah, and then I think in the episode too, I think it was Michael McKean's voice who like yelled, you know, but he wasn't there, I don't think, right? He wasn't there.
I think we just had to pretend he wasn't.
Yeah, and then they put his voice in, so I thought that was kind of cool too, because I kind of got the chance to work with him, sort of, his voice acting. But that was my last day, is I got to come in and we get to do a fun scene, and I hadn't been on set for like 3 years, so it was really nice for me to say goodbye to everybody and just be back on set for a bit. My last day was great. I thoroughly enjoyed my last day. I didn't get clapped out either. I'm just pushing, guys. I'm just pushing. I'll take what I can get.
I think it's like whenever you're ending a series, it has that kind of bittersweet thing. So people are excited for potential new things. Sometimes the strange thing that happens when you're working too is you're so grateful, but you're also pretty tired. And so like some people were kind of burnt out at that point as well. But you know, you couldn't quite see how much you maybe regret it later. Some people, just a couple. And then I was the geeky one that wanted to go around to go to everybody's dropouts and like pop them out. So that was kind of my thing. And then nobody was there for me.
You just assumed they were like, everybody will be here.
Oh, that was just told me. That was so classically me. My last scene was in the wedding dress. preparing for the wedding, so that was kind of cool.
Did you get married?
I think, yeah. Yeah, there was the wedding and the fun.
I wasn't invited to that. Like, I'm just family, you know. It didn't make any sense.
There's no budget for you to fly in.
I think I might be wrong, but I was like hovering outside the window, like I wasn't invited in.
They flew you over in a wire outside the window?
Wait, I don't remember. I just remember not being invited to the wedding. And
So
thinking
you
that's
crashed
all.
it?
Am I wrong? Was there not a shot of me?
You went to the future.
Oh, that's where I went. I went to the future. Yeah, that's what I went.
How did you do that?
She flew 88 miles an hour.
Actually, as soon as we were done, I just went on to V, because that was in Vancouver as well. Smallville was just kind of like, goodbye, I'm like, goodbye. And I found another job as fast as I could, so I didn't have to move.
You have the mic over here, right there.
Hi, my name is Maddie, and I'm always really interested to see what actors eat while they're on set, and they're just like waiting for a scene to happen. Like what do you eat backstage?
What do we
Like
eat
snacks.
backstage?
They don't allow us to eat.
You mean here or on set, or?
Yeah, like on set when you're waiting for a scene.
Oh, on set.
Yeah, like comfort food.
Breath mints. Before a scene, yes. That Annette would call her acting pill. But it's really so if you have to kiss anybody that you don't taste like coffee or.
I had those breath strips, and there was a stage. There was a time when I was working. They called it my food. I was like, "Can you bring me my food?" That's a whole other story. But so you should know, we get this craft service table, and it's always out there for us to kind of just go and munch at. So depending on what time period in the season, we all got a little bit bigger when it was dark, and a little bit bigger. We'd be having. I had lots of scoops of peanut butter that I'd walk around with on. And a spoon because I never had time to eat. And I couldn't fit in the costume.
It's very sophisticated.
There's muffins
Very
and
glamorous.
sandwiches.
John would have these really big sandwiches, and I would stand there eating like a cup of tuna. Or
Wow, you guys.
bit of peanut butter.
Yeah, tuna's like the go-to for a lot of actors.
And then as the season went on, I would just give up and I would start eating sandwiches too. Yeah. But yes, we did sit and graze. There was great times.
And there's a certain time of the day on sets where they walk around with a candy tray.
Oh, that's
Oh, after lunch.
Yeah.
Right after lunch, they know we need a pick-me-up.
The
Just
fresh
like
baked
toddlers.
cookies.
So they give us and then we crash, but usually after that scene, so they don't care.
Yeah.
They just hand the tray, and there's cheese tray. Oh, I'm hungry.
But the Smallville sound stages was an old cheese storage place, right?
It did have a certain smell.
Yeah. There's the whole cheese.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. Very cheesy stuff.
Again, thanks for coming out and I've enjoyed your shows. Besides what you've done already, Smallville, Erica and Laura, you've been on Supergirl, John, you've been on Shazam. Is there any other like superhero or science fiction or fantasy that you really would like to get into that you haven't yet or are thinking about?
A fantasy I'd like to get into.
Movie. There are children in the room.
I'll take suggestions in a little suggestion box, and if any of you have any ideas for me, I'll be glad to consider them.
Okay, so you know what movie I just saw on the plane was Alita, the Girl Warrior, which I absolutely loved, and I just think it would be really interesting to be able to do a role like that. Obviously, it's a much younger part, but she's part cyborg, so you're dealing with all that CGI and green
Is that the
screen.
blonde girl that killed? I've seen trailers that there's some blonde girl.
No, that's Anna. You're confusing that with
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
Alita came out months ago. It's based on an anime, Japanese anime.
Yeah. Watch it. It's awesome. But something like that,
Laura, your fantasies?
Pardon?
She said, Laura, your fantasies?
Oh.
Don't tell them the one you had told me about
Well,
me.
John.
Okay, all right. I promise to keep it a secret.
I wanted to be Buffy when I was younger, so that's always been a.
I wanted to be with Buffy. Sorry,
Me too, it's so weird.
Love Buffy. Who is Buffy?
Sarah Michelle Gellar. Oh, and the original from the movie. You don't Buffy? No?
I must have been doing theater then.
I mean, yeah, there's no Harlequin. I thought Harlequin was a fantastic role for women, for her as an actress. But shows right now, I don't know. I'm not sure what a fantasy would be.
Just because you mentioned watching a movie on the way here, so I watched a movie, and I'm like kind of a fan of zombie movies, and I watched a movie called Overlord on the way here. Have you guys seen that? It's so weird. Nazi zombies. Anyways, I would like to do a zombie movie. To be honest with you, like a real genre zombie movie.
They've made them really scary now.
Yeah, it's just fun, just fun. Like I don't know, there's something about it that seems sort of that if you're talking genre stuff, I think I've done space stuff, superhero stuff. So I think a zombie movie would be next. Yeah.
Zombie Christmas movie.
Pitch to Hallmark.
That'd be delightful.
What are you calling it?
Got a question all the way over there.
Pass it down, y'all.
I'm trying to think of a name for it now. Holly horror.
Laura, you mentioned that you just executive produced a movie, and I was curious if you could talk more about that and what sort of challenges you faced as an executive producer, and what things about being in that type of role surprised you that you had a different perception perhaps about being an executive producer and what you learned about it.
A lot. So this was a movie that I've been wanting to make for a while. It's called Age of Dysphoria. We have Instagram now, Age of Dysphoria Film. We have to follow so we can actually get into festivals. It's a story that I wanted to tell because I've done a lot of sci-fi, a lot of genre stuff, which has been great, but I wanted to do something that didn't have special effects. It was about two characters, a relationship between an elderly man and a woman who, I don't want to give too much away, but there was an incident that changed both of their lives, and they're coming back together now. And we cast an actor named Gordon Pinsent, who's been my role model since I was 12. He's a Canadian legend.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, he's a Canadian icon.
Yeah. So he was our lead.
That's awesome.
An incredible, yeah, I'll show you the film. But yeah, you've directed, you've done, I've never been behind the camera. I'd like to get more into it, but it was a learning process for sure, just in terms of like getting your budget together, casting, filling out the paperwork, your crew, location scouting, all of that was stuff I wanted to have my hands on and to learn more about. And we had a female director, Jessica Patel, who's incredible. Also one of our producers from the V War show on Netflix.
Did you start?
Yeah, so Gordon and I. And I'd like to do more of it. I like you said, having more control over the content that we actors are in, or creating content for other actors to be a part of. Because we never know when our next job is, and it is nice to kind of steer that ship a little bit ourselves. So hopefully I'll be doing more of that. Age of Dysphoria film.
Hi, this is my first con, and I'm completely starstruck. I'm a physics professor at Towson, and I teach a course of superheroes on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Smallville, and Roswell, the original Roswell. And I have a clip of each one of you that I show, so I'm actually excited. Like my cheeks are hurting because I've been smiling all day. I think the first time I saw you, I was like, ah! And my daughter, she heard me say that. But anyway, my question is, being starstruck, have you been starstruck before with other fans, or who do you get starstruck by, or who would you like to meet the most?
I was, I wouldn't say that I was completely surprised by the fact that I was starstruck when I met this person, but I turned into a blubbering mess. I met Patrick Stewart, who just, I grew up sort of in that age range where Next Generation was like a huge deal. I watched all of it, and so that's sort of, how I knew him. And my brother is acted with him in the X-Men movies, so there was a connection there that my brother had worked with him over many, many years, and I'd heard many stories about him, what a nice man he was. And I was at a convention, and I got a chance to meet him, and he sort of walked up behind the table where I was, and he kind of poked his head through, and he said, "Hello, how are you?" And I said, I'm not Sean, I'm Aaron. You worked with my brother Sean in the X-Men movies, but we're twins, and all this sort of stuff, and he just said, "I know." And then shook my hand, and I felt like an idiot, but then I spoke with him later, and we had a really, really nice conversation, and my nerves or whatever had sort of come over me, had passed, and we had a great conversation about all sorts of things. But I really was a blubbering idiot for a good 5 minutes, but he was very gracious. I know. So that's the one person that I met that I was definitely starstruck about.
I got a chance to meet Michelle Obama. I didn't know what to do. I was terrified. She's just everything that you guys think she is. She was incredible. And I went with my eldest son, and we went and we got to do a photo op. And I was shaking. Yeah. And I got up to her and I was like, you're just I could barely, I don't even remember it. I just remember I started sweating. And then she just was smiled and gracious, and she turned to my son, who is 18 at the time, and she said, "You're gonna be a good man, aren't you?" And my son was like, "Yes, ma'am." And she's like, "You're gonna do good things," and he goes, "Yes, ma'am." And he walked over and he goes, "Mom, I feel," and this was amazing. Just says the kind of energy this woman had. He literally thought, he goes, "That was one of the coolest moments of my life, and I actually feel like I could do some good." And this is an 18-year-old kid that was like, "Okay, we're gonna meet this person," but he was completely starstruck. She was incredible. So
why didn't you take me?
Next time. I'll call her. She doesn't like it. She has restraint.
John, what about you?
I'll take the Obamas. Yeah. I was thinking, I became, when I was in LA for a long time, I was good friends with Roddy McDowell, so I met all these, and Betty Davises and Liz Taylors and people like that. And I kept thinking as the line was coming down, I think actors. But the Obamas would do it right for me. Yeah, I think, I just go blah, blah, blah.
Laura, what about you?
I would have to say when I met Stevie Nicks. Yeah. And actually, I've never told you guys this. So I got to go backstage and meet her. I'm diehard. And we went into the dressing room. She had a little dog running around. She wasn't in there yet. So I was just waiting, and I turned around and she walked in, and she looked at me, and I was like already crying. And she said, "I know you." And I was like, "No, you don't, but I love you so much." And she said, "Smallville." And I said, "I'm sorry." She said, and I don't know if maybe I'm not supposed to tell this story, but I'm sure it's okay. Her father passed away, and they recently had become close, and Smallville was her favorite show, or is. And her and her father, when they sat down, she said, "Dad, can we watch my favorite show?" And they watched Smallville. And there was an episode, yeah. He passed away the next day. And she said, "You're here for a reason. This is a sign from my dad." She started crying. I'm crying even more. We were holding hands. And it was the craziest moment of my life, but she's a fan of the show. And no, you don't expect that when you meet someone you look up to have the same, you know what I mean? So it was very surreal. That was the
Any of the
best.
songs she wrote are about Smallville.
I bet every song is about Smallville. Yeah, so wow.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
We've got just a couple minutes left, so the next question's got to be a really good one. Do we have a really good one?
We have to give good answers too.
All right.
Way to step up to the challenge. Challenge
This
accepted.
one's for Erica. I have to say, no, calm down. Most of it's a calm down.
Okay, sorry.
I think you're the best Lois. I'm very, very fond of Lois and Clark as a pairing. I just think you really embodied her. She's a military brat, she's a go-getter, and she's, a reporter. She's intrepid. You know, they did. I think they hit all the right notes with you, and I think. Anyway, I really, really enjoyed it. So the thing I wanted to ask you, since it's a quick question, is did you enjoy doing the action scenes and things? Because I know you had some fight scenes. You kicked a little butt here and there. So did you enjoy it?
I absolutely enjoyed it. Yes, thank you. And I feel equally grateful to be in a position where I got to play something where all of these different and interesting scenarios came my way. So I benefited from it. You know, we look at our material and then we get to embody it. But if it's not there originally, then we don't get to have the snappy lines or any of those kinds of things. But being from a small town in a scenario where women weren't really allowed to, we were supposed to be very subservient and just always be really pleasant and nice and appeasing. So it was really therapeutic for me to get in and punch people and kick people. So I also did some of my own healing. Yeah, so I feel grateful.
But thanks for coming.
So let me pose one final question for everybody to bring this to a conclusion, which is you've all done the convention circuit for a number of years now. What's the most bizarre con experience you've had? Fan encounter, convention mishap.
I actually have never had any like weird, bizarre things happen. Maybe the ladies, maybe you guys. But honestly, I've never had anything but amazing encounters with people. I know that everybody kind of warned me when I started doing the cons, like, oh, like you just never know, blah blah blah. But I haven't found, and it's always been incredibly fun and laid back most of the time. Like I don't know, I've never had any bizarre experiences, to be honest with you. So I kind of wish that I'd had. Somebody do something weird.
There's still time.
I shouldn't have asked for that. Yeah.
I haven't had any weird things either, but I was at a convention where I heard two people fought over a chair for a panel. So he pulled out his pen and stabbed the other person in the eye. It clearly wasn't a panel that I was on, but I think it was for like Starstruck or like Shatner or something. And yeah, stabbed someone in the eye with a pen.
Oh my goodness.
You're gonna want to get into
Giving
see
you
for Shatner.
I you know what I get from being at cons, and I find wonderful is I get the feedback from the experience. Like we just live in this little world and we create it on the set and we have our friendships and that sort of thing, but you never really see how that extrapolates and how people feel about it. But I feel like it's such a give and take relationship, and so the people that watch the show and love the show keep our show on. So that was amazing. But also I have to say it's so incredibly wonderful to be around people that are so positive and to be around people that dress up as adults and stuff. We forget that inner child, and I have these little kids that will run around and they put on whatever they want, and that's what they are, and there's just the beauty to it. So I actually quite like to be in a scenario where I see people dressed up and just like going for it and having fun, and then you hear everybody else saying we've met each other, we met from people from all over the world, we've been doing this for 15 years, and I just think it's awesome. So I get a lot of positive energy from it.
John?
I have a ball. I love it. I'm in my first year still, so I'm a bit of a novice. I don't know what you all are talking about most of the time. Because I'm feeling I'm an outsider in this genre, but I get offered these jobs within it, which I don't understand why, but I do it and have a great time. But this one young man at one of the cons I was at, all hotels are everything's fuzzy about the But anyway, it was about Batman and Batman the animated series, and he was trying to tell me about how the Riddler and this one do, and I was trying to explain to him I didn't know what he was talking about. That I wasn't a fan of Batman. I just aced it. Somebody offered me the job, and I could see it was getting more and more upset. And I said, but don't you understand? Now I'm realizing 25 years later how important it was to so many people. But he couldn't hear that, and he just turned his back on me, walked away so brokenhearted. I felt like such a mean person because I let him down because I didn't understand. But, yeah. That one pops to my mind. I just felt like I broke his heart.
Breaking hearts wherever you go.
So this has been a special hour. Unfortunately, it is over. Our guests are here with us for the weekend. So please, Ashmore, Vandervoort, Durance, and John Miller.